This is my first video on this channel that is not a short out of context bit from a game that makes no sense. And what it's going to be is the start of a series where I go through my model cars and talk about them and show some details and how I did this, that, and the other thing. And so we started off with my 1/24th scale 1971 Hemi Cuda. This is not my first model car. It's not my nicest model car, but it's one that I'm just going to start the series with because it's a very cool car in real life. This one's very mediocre. I didn't spend very much time on it, and that shows in a lot of places. For example, back here, and I don't know how well it's coming through on camera, but the decals on the passenger side are wrinkled very badly, right above the wheel. The paint that lines the fenders is a bit rough, and there's some spots where the paint didn't dry the exact same as others, as visible right there. But it's a very unique car that I have, in that the interior is almost all gray, which isn't exactly very nice, but I don't have any others like that. There are two marks on the trunk where I just took the spoiler off because I do think that the car looks nicer without it. Some people may think differently, but that's just what I like the car as. I think it looks a lot more smooth with it off, if that's how I want to phrase it. The engine turned out very well for my standards when I built this. I'm going to take the hood off because it's incredibly inconvenient. The engine itself is the same color as the body, because that is what I had paint for at the time. I did a little bit of minor detailing. I have coolant cap on the radiator, battery terminals, and not much else. I did not paint the Hemi Cuda onto the side of the shaker. Overall, I am happy with how the engine turned out. It turned out a lot nicer than the body of the car did. I could have put more detail into it. I could have put less, and I'm happy with how that did turn out. Let's get a look at the dash, which is, once again, very mediocre, but gets the point across. Underneath, the car is also mediocre again. I didn't put a whole lot of extra time into detailing underneath. I painted the exhaust, the fuel tank, leaf springs. I didn't even do all of the frame. I did a little bit of the suspension, different colors, and you can see the oil pan is still body colored. The wheels on this thing are all very loose, which makes it very difficult to put on display without it wobbling. All the wheels are like this. But I put up with it because I like the car. there are some other issues with it too. I did not secure all the body panels properly because I ran out of glue, which is a problem I do tend to have. I tend to forget that, oh, I used that entire glue tube, so there's none left, and then when I go to the hobby stores, I don't buy any because I thought I had some, and you wind up with issues like this. But, other than that, the car is just that. That's all there is. Here's a toothpick that I used to prop up the hood, but it fell into the radiator support. The car itself is a nice car. I just didn't do it very well, and I guess that's gonna be all, because there's nothing else that this car told.